In this series, I want to talk about what are the 10 Sefirot. First, let's talk about the history of this knowledge. Where does it come from? Though there was this concept of 10 Sefirot for thousands of years, they were only clearly explained and described in the writings of the Ari. Now, the Ari didn't write anything himself. In fact, what were written down by his students as books of the Ari were buried for a few generations in the grave of the Ari and only dug up later. They were dug up in portions and gradually disseminated, but nobody knew what they meant. Yehuda Ashlag, known as Bala Sulam, came along and boiled down this entire system of worlds, Partsufim, Sefirot, and I'm going to define all these terms. He boiled them down into kind of an E equals MC squared of the spiritual world. When we study these texts, it may seem like we're studying some theoretical knowledge, but this wisdom is actually no more theoretical than the knowledge of our world. It is the knowledge that's necessary for us to enter and know how to exist inside the spiritual reality. When we learn what Bala Sulam writes in this book, we're actually building the structure of our soul. It's being built like the embryo in the womb. Though we cannot see how it is working on us, Bala Sulam writes that when we read the books of the wisdom of Kabbalah, an upper force that is called the light actually works and starts building this thing that is called the soul. So we are studying, though it seems like it's Chinese to someone who doesn't speak Chinese, we are actually learning about the elements of our soul, which have no words that can describe them in our world, because our language comes from descriptions that people created about their reality. And the spiritual reality is a totally different reality that we have to be born into. And if I am missing any of the components of this thing that is called the soul, I can't be born into this reality any more than you can be born into our world without lungs or a heart. Although I'm going to explain everything simply, I want to mention that when we study this type of a text, there's no need for us to really understand what we're reading. Although it may sound very strange to hear words like Partsufim, Sefirot, Galgalten and Naim, Ahap, we are actually learning about the system that we live in already and can begin to perceive. It's like we're in a dream. You know, when you're having a dream, some beautiful dream, and you start to remember problems from life, things that you have to deal with on a daily basis that concern you. And thinking about these problems from within the dream starts to kind of ruin the dream for you, to awaken you. You gradually become aware of the fact that, oh, I'm actually dreaming right now. This isn't my reality. My reality exists in my awakened state. Kabbalists tell us that by reading texts like the one that we're going to read in this series, we actually start hearing about the real, true reality, which we don't exist in now. And it awakens us from this imaginary reality that we're seemingly existing in now. And that's why there's a benefit to learning even if we don't understand. But the more that we think about it and try to process it and understand it and build the picture that the author is trying to paint for us, the sooner we awaken to this new eternal spiritual reality that it describes.